Hi guys, it's really hot. I am somewhere in town and behind me is the Marina Bay Sands. Just because we're in Singapore, I have to prove that I'm here. So I've been thinking a lot about what I wish I knew someone would have taught me when I first started business years ago. I started in 2022, but if I were to start business again, I wish I would know these 3 key constraints that every business owner needs to know before they begin their journey. And it starts with a triangle. We call it the buy-in growth map. And I wish that someone would have taught me earlier so that I can save money, so that I can make more money, so that I can save myself a lot of headache, and so that I can grow faster. I wish that someone would have taught me this, but I had to learn it the hard way. So, a lot of lessons learned. And after scaling the business from 5 figures to 6 figures and beyond, and working with entrepreneurs who are 8-figure entrepreneurs, people who are 7-figure founders, and coaching CEOs of billion-dollar organizations, here are some of the things I wish I learned earlier in terms of getting chosen, getting client results, and growing beyond yourself. So there's a framework that we like to use, and it's called the buy-in growth map. So if you were to look at your screen, all right, what we have is we have a triangle, and the 3 core problems that all of us have to face as a business owner will be, number 1, we need to know how to get chosen, right? Because if you don't get chosen by clients, then your clients will go elsewhere to competitors, they will go to another service provider. And that's fine, because they're trying to get their problem solved, or they're trying to get the best product out there. And if you don't, if you can't figure out how clients can make their way through the marketplace and choose you, then you're going to face a lot of problems. So the first part is to get chosen. It's not just about visibility. It's a very complex psychological process, but if I were to simplify it, it's really the art of providing value so that people would want to choose you over the sea of competitors and the sea of sameness. So how do you get chosen among everyone else? So if I were to zoom into it, if you are a financial advisor, how do you differentiate yourself? Knowing that we all sell similar products and services. If you are someone in retail or fashion, probably you're getting from similar suppliers. Same if you're selling supplements, right? Similar suppliers, formulations are pretty much the same. The question is, how do you differentiate yourself? So how do you get chosen in a marketplace? So the first problem is pretty much how to get chosen in a very crowded marketplace. The second problem to solve is how do we get client results? Now, the reason why I'm sharing with you this map is because this is how I've seen 7-figure entrepreneurs function, and this is how I've seen people scale their businesses to 8 figures. We're talking about fashion retail brand. They have nailed this down to the T, and the reason why their businesses have scaled beyond 5 figures, 6 figures to 7 and 8 figures with pretty much a lean team is because they know how to get chosen, how to get client results, and how to grow beyond themselves. Because without the machine of the business, your business will always be limited by you. So this growth map allows you to look outside of where you're currently at, and it will help you identify where are your gaps, where are the areas where you probably need to double down and focus on, where are the assets in your business that are still missing, so that perhaps after watching this video, you can start building them or start looking for someone that can help you with them. And if it happens to be us, that's great. I'd love to work with you for our buy-in accelerator, where we help businesses scale past 5, 6 figures. Yep. Okay. So the third problem that we need to solve is what we call grow beyond yourself. And the reason is that if you don't figure out a way to grow beyond yourself, you will always be a one-person show. And this is what business analysts and investors call Keyman risk. And as long as that Keyman risk, investors would probably not look at your business. And unless you don't intend on selling the business, you probably want to keep the business for cash flow, which is fine. That's one way to look at it. But if you do intend to sell the business, or you want to build the business such that it's prepared to be sold if you want it to be sold, which is the recommendation, right? We definitely want to look at how do we address Keyman risk, which is if you are removed from the business, will it function in the next 30, 60 or 90 days? So growing beyond yourself is a huge problem we need to solve. Now, the solution and how we figured out a map around this is, for the first one, for get chosen, the first solution that we're looking at is we need to build, not sales. Contrary to popular belief, most people think that to get chosen, it's about getting sales. Nothing can be further from truth. It's not necessarily about getting sales. Before you get sales, you need to earn trust. Even if you're running ads, you need to create an ad that gets their trust to click. And from click, they go to the landing page, they sign up. And from signing up, you go to the next page where you probably give more particulars, or you're being upsold to, or you're being sold into a up-ticket item. So it's trust, not sales. People focus on sales because that's a short-term game, and that's what gives you cash flow in the business. But how long are you going to play that game? The cash flow game will never end. And if you solve something upstream, it'll be better rather than just trying to solve it downstream. It's the analogy of the person who saw someone drowning in the river, and someone's drowning in the river, and so they were to jump in and try to save the person. But actually, as they brought the person out, they walked again down the river. They found another person that was also drowning. Oh no, I'm drowning. Only to realize, had they walked a little bit upstream, there's a culprit that's throwing people into the river. So rather go upstream to solve the problem rather than go downstream. Interesting analogy that I heard. Okay, so to get chosen, the key is trust, not sales. It's trust first, then sales. Because sales happens because of a belief transfer or a trust transfer. There is a bridge between where the prospect is and where the prospect needs to be so that a sale occurs. That bridge is the gap. If there is no gap, there is no sales. If there is a gap, then you or the prospect would start to realize that, hey, if I don't do something about it, then I'll be stuck at where I am. Therefore, a sale occurs. So this transference gap is the trust building aspect. Now, how do you build trust? There are three main solutions that we work on for our clients at the Buyin Accelerator. The first one is we look at positioning. And the reason why we look at positioning is because in a sea of sameness, the purple cow is the one that stands out, right? So Seth Godin wrote this book called The Purple Cow. And if you were to perhaps be in Australia, in Melbourne, in farm areas, or traveling at the what's a popular place called? Forgot the name of the place. But if you were to be traveling there, you realize that there are a lot of goats, sheep, cows. And if you to out of a sudden see a purple cow, it will stand out. So the idea is, how do we stand out from the market and be very different? I'll give an example, right? Recently there was an article that came out of an interior design firm that does not market like an interior design firm. They do not market about their textiles from their tiles from Italy, or their tabletops from France. No, they market like a music company. So they release a music video. Shout out to the company, it's called Pop Motif in Singapore. They market using music videos. They have a song, and people find out about the song, and through that, it's a bit of creative marketing to funnel into them as an interior design firm. So it makes them different in the market, right? The question is, how do you want to differentiate yourself, right? And what are the differentiators that make yourself valuable to your right eyeballs? That's the key. So positioning is the first part. Beyond positioning, what we want to build proof. That's the second system that we help our clients build. And the reason why we work on proof here is because the market over promises. Everybody can make a promise that, hey, if you work with me, my SEO agency, then you will get 100 leads every month, right? Anyone can make a promise, but if you can deliver on proofs, if you can have proofs to back it up, if you can walk the talk, then the marketplace will trust you even if you're not popular, right? You will get clients by referrals. So the key when getting chosen is to build trust via proofs, and to create a system where the proofs keep stacking up one on top of the other, and because of that, you get referrals. And the last thing you want is you have 10 clients, and after 1 year, 9 out of the 10 churn, they leave to go join someone else or go get another service provider because your service isn't good. So the key is stacking proofs, and also other aspects of the system that we're going to talk about later on. So after you've stacked proof, the last system that we work with for our clients in terms of building trust is demand generation. How do you generate demand so that people will want your service? And typically with our clients, how we work is we ask them, okay, instead of looking like, okay, I want 100 leads a month, ask yourself, what can I do on a weekly cadence? what are my sales activities or mini sales campaigns on a weekly basis? What are the sales campaign on a monthly basis that I can do? It could be a workshop, it could be a webinar, it could be an event, it could be a networking session. And what can I do on a quarterly basis? It could be a bigger mini summit, right? Things like that. And because you have a weekly, monthly, and quarterly cadence to get leads and conversations, you can get conversions into sales. If you don't have any asset in your business that creates conversations or gets people to try out a little bit of your service, get to know you, to see you demonstrating your expertise, especially if you're a service provider, if you're a law firm, if you're a financial advisor, if you don't see how they demonstrate expertise, or even if you're an interior design firm, right? If you don't see your creation, you don't see your work, it's hard for people to trust us. So demand generation is about how do we look at the microeconomics or the micro units of demand generation on a weekly basis, on a monthly, on a quarterly, and then install it into a system. Okay, let's move on. So for getting client results, how we like to think about it in terms of what is the solution. So in getting client results, we call the solution working on your product. In this case, your product or your service, right? And there are three components or three systems that we teach our clients to build. The first one is your offer or your methodology. The first one is your offer or your methodology. The reason why we look at offers is because the offer is the basic unit economic of what the transaction is about. If you work on the offer, then you can work on something tangible, number one. Number two, you can work on improving how you enroll clients and how you market and how you sell. So I'll give an example. An offer does not mean that it's just about discounts. What we mean by offer, there are several kinds of offers. Shout out to Alex Hormozy. There is an attraction offer. How do you attract people to come to you? There is an upsell offer. There is what we call a downsell offer, and then a continuity offer. So if a combination of a sequence of offers made at the point of sale, you'll be much more persuasive to get clients fast. And the power of knowing how to craft good offers is that, number one, when you can have attraction offers, and I can't cover in detail what we cover for attraction offers, if you can craft attraction offers, you will be able to get cash fast, right? Or you'll be able to get clients or at volume even. If you can do upsell offers, what happens is that your margins will be much higher, and with that cash that you get at a faster rate, like perhaps in 30 or even 60 days, right? You compress cash, or you pull the future forward rather than make them pay over 12 months, you make them pay for the whole year. Once you have that cash, you can run ads, and that is what we call client finance acquisition. So because you have the cash, you can get 3, 5, 10 more clients with that cash. So your limiting factor in your business is not your capital. It will be other things, other constraints, and that's a great problem to have. So the offer. The other part of it will be your methodology. So how do you differentiate yourself in the market as a service provider as well? Is like, what is your unique method? What is the signature that you know that your competitors don't? And the reason why we need to narrow this down, and what I've helped my clients with, whenever they give speeches, this could be a CEO of a billion-dollar company, the head of an insurance company, a department, top group financial services directors. Right? The reason why I work on their signature frameworks when they speak is so that they will be positioned differently from the other thought leaders. So all your knowledge and experience that you have, you need to pull it and compress it into a decision-making framework, so that whoever listens to you understands that, hey, this person has figured this out over many years of experience, and they've made the process simpler to see. This could be a map, this could be steps, this could be level 1, level 2, level 3, this could be a sequence, a flow, it could be a triangle, it could be a circle. So we work with our clients to create signature offers and methodologies for them, so that it will attract the best clients for them. Okay, next part. After we work on the offer and the methodology, we need to work on delivery, client delivery. I cannot stress enough how I've wanted to work with service providers, but because of the client delivery, it made us step back, right? And I'm not the only one. When I scour and I talk to people, why is it you chose this business, not that business? Why do you choose this firm, not that firm? It's because of the client delivery. And people will start judging you. Your prospects will start judging you from the get-go. They will start to decide whether they want to work with you from the first appointment. And that is how they're going to assess whether this will be a nice long-term working relationship, or your transactional experience just for one project, or even after this prospective introduction meeting, I'm not going to see you anymore. So you got to nail the delivery, right? Now for service providers, this delivery will look something like a customer journey map. So we work on your touch points and how you can make online and offline touch points at every single point, and using the law of marginal gains, right? Which is work on each touch point just 1% better than competition. It all stacks and adds up. Rather than doing a huge thing, we work on the small points to make your entire business rise up, and it's incredibly powerful, very underrated. So we look at delivery. How do you deliver a better customer experience? So this could be, so imagine this, right? If you buy a luxury item, once you step into the shop, you smell a very attractive scent. They welcome you, hi, welcome to our store. And then when you come in, they smile, they welcome you in. There's someone to engage with you immediately within probably 1 to 3 minutes. Once you're in, right? Obviously, there will be a queue outside because that's what they do to increase supply-demand tension for luxury companies. But once you're inside, what's going to happen is that they're going to say, okay, where would you like to see? Or maybe they will recommend you. It's a whole experience on its own. And after your purchase, as per my clients who tell me that, who tell me what happens after they buy from luxury stores, after the purchase, they'll get an SMS. Hey, thank you so much, or an instant message. Thank you so much for purchasing from our store. I will be the salesperson who will be serving you. And within the next 2 months, if you're to get your next item, you'll get it at 20% off. So there is a very intentional customer journey, and it works by design, not by chance. Very important. Next part is what we call, after the delivery, is the experience, right? So the experience and the delivery goes hand in hand. The one side of it is, how do we deliver a service that gets them the results that they want, which is it a predictable system that has gotten our clients from point A to point B? What is that transformation? That's the first part, right? So the delivery is as important as the client experience. The client experience would be, how do you wow them? How do you surprise them? How do you think about something that they have not thought about? For example, one of my contacts told me when she went to China, there was a hotel that was very wellness themed. So they got them to do a little bit like an assessment of their body, the heat signatures, and when they entered the hotel room, they had a card, and the tea that they will serve would be linked to the heat map, right, that of their assessment. So it's very curated to the person's experience, and that's going to wow them because they totally don't see that coming. It's so personalized, it makes everything amazing, right? So people buy personalization, right? People buy custom a lot. So delivery and experience. Now beyond the delivery and experience, if we move on, the next problem to solve is growing beyond yourself. And typically the solution for growing beyond yourself, so the solution for growing beyond yourself would be what we call scale. So when we want to scale, there are 3 things that we work on. The first one will be operations, ops. The second one will be leadership, and the third one will be growth. So I'll give some examples. Ops will be things like, do we have a repeatable, what we call a delivery engine? How do we operationalize all the way from our supply chain all the way to the time that the customer gets the experience, and then even ascension after that. So once I make a purchase, that is the start of the relationship, not the end of the relationship. And that's why companies like Apple invest so much on the unboxing experience, because they know that drives marketing, because when people record themselves unboxing, it drives the funnel for more people to be interested in buying that. So it's a whole experience. So operationally, you have to see, how do you scale beyond yourself? You have to look at what are the components of delivery. So all the way from supply chain all the way down. So we help our customers to relook at the operations. The second part is the leadership. Now you could have really good SOPs or KPIs. You could have a dashboard, a metrics. You could have a good cadence of weekly, monthly, quarterly. You could have good check-ins, and your team could be well dialed in terms of they know what to do. But if the second part, the leadership, you don't grow leaders in the organization, what's going to happen is that the company will be limited by its leaders and its talent, which is why founders like Stephen Bartlett, they advocate so much for talent, and it's a war for talent. It's a quote-unquote arms race for talent, because talent can go to the highest bidder. Talent typically goes to companies that they resonate with. So the question is, how do you not just grow talent but also attract talent? So I remember one of my my friends, right? Akif, CEO of Nilofa, shout out to them. He mentioned during the Before the Win Summit that we organized with 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs, he mentioned that branding is two things, right? Mental availability and physical availability. But he said that the role of a CEO is actually to find a team that will build on the vision. So the key is to find that team, right? The key is to recruit. So that's to attract. But he also said this. He said that if you have a good enough system, you don't necessarily need A players, like really top tier talent. You can work with B players, but with a good system, you can still scale, you can still grow, you can still win the market. So it's not necessarily about, oh, should I hire the most expensive one, the most talented one, the one from the big firms, the big four, but it's more of like work on the machine first and then hire. Probably going to start with C players, B players. I mean, I don't like to score them that way. Maybe I should remove that from my vocabulary, but the point is, you want to get talent that will be able to run the ship with you. And if you believe somebody's more talented to run the ship, then make sure that the machine itself runs on its own. Then the last part will be growth. What are the growth assets that you need to build in your business so that you can grow beyond your current pool of market? So this could be things like creating assets, creating IP, intellectual property. How do we get data from the IP? How do we get more insight so that we can make informed decisions, right? So growth systems will be looking at our lifetime value of a customer, looking at customer acquisition costs. How do we reduce the cost to acquire a customer? How do we increase lifetime value? Because customer acquisition costs will only go up, so it's going to be a pretty losing game. You try to win by that, but more of like, how do we make each customer worth more? If you're a service provider, how this looks like is maybe now you're going to service all the moms in Woodlands, the north of Singapore. Next time you're going to serve moms who are earning $10,000 a month. Next time you're going to serve moms who are earning $50,000 a month, things like that. So you're going to upgrade the avatar as you go along, right? So this whole triangle, this whole map is the system that we teach in the Buyin Accelerator. So I call the whole system Buyin. Yep. So the whole system is called Buyin, and if we nail this right, you will have a business that gets chosen, that gets exceptional client results, and also grows beyond yourself. So if you're interested to know more about the Buyin Accelerator, our next intake is coming soon. Click on the link in the description and I would love to see you. This would be an audition. So if you click on it and let's say we look at your profile and we felt, okay, you know what, we can help you. We'll take you in and we'll work together for the next 12 months. If let's say you're not too sure yet, there's also a link in the description where you can click. This will be our Buyin Growth Map Diagnostic. So you take a quiz, you figure out where are your gaps, then from there maybe you decide, okay, then you have a very good map of, okay, what I'm weak at. Am I weak at positioning? Am I weak at leadership? Am I weak at delivery or experience? So this helps you identify your gaps. So if you're keen on working with us, let me know. I'll be very excited to work with you and helping more founders scale beyond 5, 6 figures and above. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys.